And speaking of A- tier films...
Yeah, it's your movie. I thought you were going to try to transition yourself there. It's the 2024 film Heretic, as requested by Nico.
Dude, why the fuck would I take your job? I'm not about that life.
You've done it so many times. What do you mean?
Dude, Heretic is a film about two cute little Mormons who decide to go and chat up this one dude to try and convert him, but they are in it for a little more than they bargained for. This guy's done the research. Mr. Reed has read more than they have, and he puts them through some trials and tribulations, the likes of which they were not prepared for, as they go into his little dungeon and get fucking murdered.
Dude, fun fact. The directors spent 10 years developing this film, and they say primarily due to meticulous theological research.
Okay.
What are the odds we got 2 movies this week with dual directors?
Very.
Oh.
Happens all the time. What's the odds that we get 3 movies that land in A tier this week? Because personally, I'm sitting at an A, and Dylan is as well.
And I'm sitting at an A-.
I'm sitting at a B.
I had a feeling. You stupid piece of shit. So Tanner, what's your major malfunction here, dude? What's your problem with this film?
So, obviously, fantastic acting, especially Hugh Grant. He's fucking astounding in this.
Phenomenal.
The writing is very good, and all of the technical stuff is really good. Like, it's just a very well-made movie. And my problem is purely...
It's an A24 film. It's fucking peak slop.
And my problem is purely just with the ending, and I just feel like the story itself, like the actual plot, fucking faceplants. Because
I'm with you. I think the ending is definitely my least favorite part of it as well.
Yeah. And the main thing is just like they're setting it up where he actually is bringing up some like lesser known theological arguments, and they're actually kind of going back and forth. And so I feel like it's setting it up to actually have something interesting or insightful to say about religion. And then, like, in the last 15 minutes, he just goes, and that's when I discovered religion is about control. Which is, like, literally the most basic bitch fucking, like, high school student level, like, theology argument. It's so basic and boring and just completely eliminates any goodwill that the earlier portion of the movie had built up, in thinking that like the writers were like approaching this with any level of intelligence or insight. Like it really bums me out that much. And then it just devolves from there to just them like stabbing each other and whatever. It's no longer this like actual cat and mouse game. They're just like actually in combat. It just really disappointed me with that ending, both on like a theming and story level, and then also on like it just evolves into this fucking like bullshit that it was not for the rest of the film.
Yeah, while watching this film, like at the beginning, it was phenomenal. I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy shit, this is like so good. Like with each scene, it was just building up more and more tension. The acting was impeccable. The ideas that they were like throwing back and forth here were really cool. And then once they go into the basement, I'm like, damn, this is just a horror movie now. And things just fell off so hard for me. Like prior to that, I was thinking, could this film actually make it into the S tier? That'd be fucking crazy. And then as the film progressed, it was just like, oh, there goes a rank. There goes a rank. Damn, there goes another rank.
Dude, I was still with it all the way up until they were in the room with the cages, and he does just say, oh, the true religion is control. That line alone, I'm like, fuck, my rank just plummeted, dude.
Personally, I definitely started much more of like with Nico there. I wasn't as big of a fall off, I would say, as Nico, and I don't have nearly as big of an issue with like the control scheme. Personally, I think it's fine. Honestly, I feel like a lot of times when somebody studies something super deeply, they do come to a very simplistic answer with something like, oh yeah, a lot of this shit is very overcomplicated in the end. And I think it fits well with what he's trying to describe. So I'm not really opposed to it. Mostly, I'm kind of with Tanner on like the fucking like knife fight thing. I just think the ending's kind of stupid. I get where he's going. Like he he realizes that his shtick isn't gonna fucking work on her like he did with all the other people that came in that he has locked in the fucking cages. So he just, wants to fucking kill her and just like move on to the next people basically because it's not gonna work. And I don't know. I think it has lost a lot of steam once it started turning into like them running away. There's some believability issues of like why the fucking girl was brought back to life. I realized the theming of her maybe being brought back by like a miracle or something or whatever you could want to look at to kill the guy and save her friend. But then she got stabbed in the fucking stomach and is like climbing a fucking ladder and running all over the house and solving puzzles to get out and shit. And not bleeding to death like you'd expect her to be doing.
Well, potentially, you could see the movies ending like one of two ways. Either like everything did play out exactly as we saw it, or that was all just like in her head as she was dying.
I don't feel like she was dying. I saw that perspective as well, and I don't fucking buy it because
I don't either.
a lot they just portray it very straight. Like it doesn't give you any sort of. They don't change the way they're like portraying the cinematography or anything. Outside of like once she gets outside, it does feel a little dreamlike. So I could see an argument made about that. But inside, like they don't do any psychological tricks or anything. It's just like more of the same until she gets outside the house. So I don't buy.
And also, even if that was the case, then I also wouldn't like that ending either.
Yeah, I don't like that they just both fucking die. I definitely wish that one of them got out. But yeah, I do like the very, very end where they have the butterfly land on her finger.
Yeah.
Big fan of that. I think that's a poignant way of ending the movie because it just goes back to the talk of like, oh yeah, if I was a butterfly, I'd want to land in your finger to make you know exactly that I exist, and then it disappears. Big fan of that. I think it's cool. I think it finally, just trying to portray that the girl is finally maybe questioning her faith a little bit and like thinking more deeply about it because it goes back into the characterization of her where she is much more focused with her religion, whereas the other girl is already kind of questioning things and experimenting. Okay, that's why she's got the birth control, because obviously she's not following her like no sex policies before marriage and shit. She's breaking some rules, whereas the other girl is much more not caring. She's very just like by the books with things. The other girl's questioning it, portrays that. The fucking main villain, he does a very good job as the villain. Big fan of his performance, but the girls do a really good job as well. Their acting is great, and I think they're very well-made characters.
Yeah, I do like the dynamic with the girls, where you have the one that is way more like, I don't know, buttoned up and pure, but ironically like less sure of her faith, and then the other one that has birth control and whatever, but she's like way more settled on this stuff is real and I actually believe it.
Yeah, and she's like willing to push back against the stuff that Hugh Grant is saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It all just goes back to like just questioning. This isn't even like explicitly just an anti-religion movie or whatever you want to look at it, but it's really just about like questioning things you believe in general. And that's the big difference between the two main girls, is that Hugh Barnes, whatever, she was much more open to questioning things she knows about. That's why she had more interesting answers to some of his questions at first, where the other girl is kind of just like reciting the Bible, things like that. And that's when the character switch happens after Barnes died, and she has to like start actually taking things at face value and maybe thinking a little bit for herself, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ultimately, in addition to all this stuff I said, like one of my other problems is like I may need to raise the rank up later, just because like part of it is very much just my expectations maybe being a bit high, and not high because of like going into the movie, but like them being built up too high by the movie, just because like I was really hoping it was going to have something interesting to say, just because like I don't know about you guys, none of the information that was presented in this movie about religion is stuff I haven't heard before.
Yeah. I think it's mostly just about watching the evolution of these characters rather than just like the philosophy of the main character or the main antagonist itself. Like I feel like you're supposed to take away the lessons that the main girl learned about just like challenging the things she currently thinks rather than understanding what the main guy is trying to describe.
I guess.
Because at the end of the day, he is some fucking weirdo serial killer that locks people in his fucking basement.
Yeah, and then also the other problem is like, just from like, if you're gonna take that perspective, the other problem I take is just like, Mormons are easy prey if you're like this psychopath trying to destroy people's religious beliefs, you know?
That's what he's trying to do, though, right? He's just going after fucking easy targets, easily manipulated people, and that's why he kills Barnes, because she's like a threat to what he's trying to do, and he thinks
True. You know what would happen if I were in this scenario?
You would fucking strangle him.
Yeah, exactly. The second he pulls me into the other room with the double exits, I would immediately go, okay, you've already done enough to catch a kidnapping charge. You're clearly not stupid, so you probably don't want to go to jail, which means whatever is down that door is probably supposed to kill me. So I'm just gonna attack you now.
That's when he pulls out a gun. Which door, Tanner? Which door?
And then I'd say, if my god is real, that gun won't fire, and then we'll try our luck.
Just pray for a misfire.
Yeah.
Well, boys, do we have anything else to say about this film? Or even does Dylan? Wow, he did have a decent bit to say. What a sweet young boy he is. How about the rest of us, though?
Nah, I think I'm good. I've made my objections known.
Yeah, it's a very well-made movie. It's an A24 film. They're all well-made. I think it has a poignant message. I don't think it lands super well for me, but I do think it's a very good movie overall. I wish it didn't have that one scene of him pulling out the birth control. That shit fucked me up. I could not look at my screen. That was him pulling out her fucking vein.
Yeah, I had to look away from the screen during that part.
That was so fucking bad, man. I've seen some fucked up shit, and that made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, like I remember a scene from like Always Sunny that's similar to that, and like even for that I had to look away. Like that, I couldn't handle it. But I'm sticking at an A-.
Yeah, I'm sticking at an A. I like this movie quite a bit.
I'm gonna stick with my B.
This was a really solid fucking week, boys.
Yeah.
I agree.
Wait, was that also A-, Jackson?
Yeah, 3 A-.
Holy cow.
Oh, damn.